All right, y'all. So this is Homeroom with Smooth, episode 13. That's what this will be. This will be episode 13, I believe. I hope it's 13. But anyway, I have my boy Carl, and I got Bam in here. So we're gonna talk about this, the stuff after everything after the election. So first of all, I just want to start off with saying congratulations to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris for winning. I want to also do a special thanks to what's her name out of Georgia, Stacey Abrams. You know what I'm saying, for getting everybody. That's what her name is, right? Stacey Abrams.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. Big shout out to her for organizing and getting the black people out to, you know what I'm saying, really make a difference down there in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't go unnoticed. They better give you a cabinet position or something. You know what I'm saying? You earned your share. You earned it. You earned it. Whatever it is, you earned it.
Yeah, she was out there doing that. She was actually hitting the pavement. So
Oh
shout
yeah,
out to her.
yeah. She was out there.
But I mean, there's still work to do in Georgia. So I mean, we got to remember that too. They still got that runoff election that they got coming. What, January 5th or something?
Well, my thing is, it's a runoff election for like one of the Senate seats. The other one got blown the fuck.
Two of them.
No. The other one got blown the fuck out.
Nah, that's for two of them.
Okay, that's what.
Hold on. How somebody get 35% and the other motherfucker got 20 and we doing a runoff?
Because you got to get 50%.
Oh, I guess. That's fucking dumb. I feel like it should be you lose by over 10%. Fuck it. We ain't doing a runoff.
I just think democracy should just play out for what it is. You know what I mean? And if democracy states that this person, like, fuck the 50%, fuck the 20, whatever it is, excuse my language, then I think whoever got the popular vote should just take this. That's how I feel with democracy. And I think what we call democracy, American democracy, isn't real democracy.
We don't live in a democracy.
We live in a republic. I think that's what you're going to say.
Yep. Right? We live in a republic. We live in a democracy.
Yep. So this is some bullshit, which that's what I wanted to talk about is basically this thing that we call just a lot of Republicans talking about protect democracy and all this bullshit. I'm like, what democracy? We've never lived in a fucking democracy. Like, what do you mean? And so that's just bothering me. Because if democracy was true and was actually to play out, then the electoral college wouldn't even be a thing.
So, hot take, real fast, hot take. I think if we moved everything to where it was like a popular vote, like everyone would go out and vote because you knew your vote mattered.
Exactly.
Matter because like if you have people like in California, there's Republicans in California, but they know they vote don't matter. Like it really don't. Like they getting screwed. They don't understand.
I would say this too is if we actually move to a true democracy, what democracy actually is, I think that Republican Party is scared that they would lose every election. Why? Because the last 7 out of the 8 presidential elections, Republican Party has lost the popular vote.
But we know that the popular vote doesn't get people elected for the presidency, and so that's a misnomer. Getting most votes doesn't really get you the presidency.
Well, we know that the statement is. What we're talking about is just if we got rid of the electoral college.
It's just a hot take, hypothetical. Like I was just throwing it out there. Like if we did that, then like a lot of stuff in the country would just be totally different.
Yeah, exactly. So like currently, like we know the electoral college, but like if we went to that popular vote, again, the Republicans are scared that if we did do that, but I think that makes it more competitive.
Honestly, it would make it more competitive, and it would make. Here's the thing that I noticed, right? State elections are all popular vote. Really, they're just all popular vote. They don't do this whole breakdown. Like your governor is decided by who's the most popular person in your state.
Yeah. My thing is,
why not the president? If everyone else is decided by popular vote.
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead, bro.
I was just saying. I think if we saw it move over to an actual true democracy, like I said before, we would see more competitiveness, and you'd actually have to look at the Republican side, and whoever's a Republican, in order to actually win the popular vote, they actually have to start crossing the line on some issues. And I think that's what we need. We don't necessarily need a person who's strong on this side where we're basically going party to party and saying Republican, Democrats. We actually need to see some competition and actually fight for our votes. So I think if that's what we were actually going to an actual democracy like that, then we would actually see actual change throughout our country.
So here's the reason why the electoral college exists. There's certain states, like the news has attributed that the reason why large metropolitan areas help Joe Biden win. If we look at the different maps from Pennsylvania to Michigan to even the state of Georgia, it was when you actually look at the map on CNN or New York Times, the entire state is red. It is just pockets of the state. It's pockets within the state, which those large metro areas that really help turn the tide. So I don't want to go too far into that, but talk about the electoral college. The electoral college is in place for smaller states like Iowa, Idaho, North Dakota, South Dakota, those type of states where they don't have those large metropolitan cities. They will never have those large metropolitan cities, and it gives them a greater influence in presidential elections because honestly, if we transition completely to a popular vote, then those states technically there would be no incentive for the presidential candidates to actually go to those states and campaign with the people that live in those states because all they would need to do is reallocate their resources just to the larger metropolitan areas because you know, that's who's going to win you the election anyway. I'm going to just stick to the big cities versus going out here and actually trying to convince people in these smaller states, in these rural parts of America to vote for me. It makes it more competitive that you actually have to go out there. Matter of fact, there's a video floating around. I saw it on the Daily Show, I believe, and where Trump said he had to go campaign in Erie, Pennsylvania, or Erie, Michigan, and he told the crowd he would have never came there had he not been in such a contested presidential race. He had to come there and campaign there for those people's votes. And so that's the ugly beauty about the electoral college. It forces you to go to places um people that the presidential candidate would never go to. I'll say this last part. So back in 2008, when Barack Obama first ran for the Democratic nomination and eventually became president in that year, he actually he wasn't actually supposed to win the race. What actually gave him hope was when he won the Iowa caucus. And the Iowa caucus comes out sometime in February or March. And that's one of the first caucuses. It's one of the first actual primaries that opened up for the Democratic race. And so when he won that, it was like, oh shit, here's this mixed guy who had zero chance of winning actually win one of the rural states of America. So it was like, oh, who is this guy? You feel me? So that actually gave him, because Hillary was supposed to win that state. And when she did it and he won, it basically opened up the whole race for him. Like, yeah, let's give him a second look because Obama actually actively campaigned in Iowa. So,
Okay. You're talking about those now. I want to separate those two things. The caucus thing will always happen. The caucus, that thing will always happen. That process is not going to change. That's how the Democratic Party runs their thing, and that's how the Republican Party, they do caucuses. That's how they do it. That's not changing at all with that popular vote scenario. And I honestly don't think it would really make people not go to those areas because you would know that, hey, I know the majority of this population over here in California is going to be Democratic no matter what I do. I have to pick up these smaller states. Excuse me. I have to go out pick up these smaller states to get some momentum. And then the opposing party is going to know, hey, I have to go campaign here to stop his momentum. So then I can take some of those votes so he's not getting a pure, boost to him. You know what I'm saying? Like I think if we then it also, instead of making us red states and blue states and all this other stuff, it stops separating us and we just become America. So you just say, hey, boom, you won America. You know what I'm saying? You won. Like it stops all that red state, blue state talk. So then every state is equal. It then just becomes a matter of, can I get the American people on my side? And it's going to force Democrats and Republicans to become more centered. They're going to practice more centered and become a little bit more moderate. I think.
Well, I want to.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think.
I just want to add on to that.
Yeah,
That
go ahead. Go
even
ahead.
like, oh, sorry, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
Oh, yeah, no. Just go ahead because I literally stopped thinking.
Oh, okay. I
I
was just
stopped the
saying
whole
that,
thought.
I mean, with currently the way that it is with the electoral college, you have smaller states where their vote means more than bigger states. So, like, even a case like Wyoming, their vote means four times more. A person in that state, their vote means four times more than a person in California. So, again, it basically says the minority rules in this instance. So, I mean, I get what you're saying, and you're absolutely right when we're talking about the electoral colleges. It gets them to, go to those smaller cities and all that stuff or whatever, but that's besides the point to me, because it's still the people speaking for the people, by you doing the majority rule. But again, like Wyoming gets four times the power of a voter than the state of California, and to me that doesn't seem fair. What we're seeing today, even in today's or excuse me, with the electoral college, with what's recently happened with Nevada, Georgia, Arizona, is we're having, well, it's kind of favored for Democrats in this instance, but if it hadn't favored for Democrats in that instance, it would have changed the whole atmosphere of our election. So to me, I just feel as though, again, every vote should mean one vote. But in some instances, like I used Wyoming as an example, one vote means four votes essentially. So
Yeah, and to kind of like piggyback and add on to that, I feel like, God, what was I thinking? I hate this. I I feel like I want to word this. I want to word this correctly. Like I feel like the electoral college was made during a period where it needed to exist.
yeah,
Like back then, before we were like the 50 states, and before technology had advanced to the state that it is, and we were so connected as we were, that electoral college system was necessary. Like for the 13 colonies, electoral college necessary. For once we got the Louisiana Purchase and you got all them extra states, necessary.
yeah,
Even I'd say even up until like 19, like, God, like at least like like even in the 60s, it was still necessary. But we're at a turning point now. Like it's really not that necessary. If you just go down to just pure popular vote, you stop all this media theatrics looking at each state going, oh my God, your ballots and these ballots and those ballots. Like you stop all of that. You stop all that. Man, would Nevada hurry up and all those you stop all of that. You stop
yeah,
it all. Like it just becomes like, okay, what is America? What did we decide? What did we as a collective decide? Because
yeah,
it's naturally creating divisions, and in not just in the state you're in, but in from state to state. Like that red state blue state thing is not good. It is not good. It's just not a good mindset to have. Everything should be America. You know what I'm saying? Okay, this is the country part of America, but it's still America.
yeah. Well, I think when a party wins power without winning votes, then they're going to abuse that power to continue winning those votes. So I think currently that's what we're seeing when you see majority of Americans want to get rid of the electoral college, but mainly Republicans want to keep it because again, it sways more in their favor in instances where like things kind of, where the, you know, currently where it was 4 years ago, it swayed in their favor. But again, the majority of the people, 61%, want to get rid of the electoral college. And I think the people have spoken. They're always speaking. And so,
This I'll say this. Okay, That's why I think prior to the recording, we was talking about whether we live in a democracy or a republic. We can poll the American populace all day long, but at the end of the day, that's why we live in the political apparatus we live in right now, where we live in a republic. So we go to the ballot box or the ballot booth and vote for these individuals to represent us in Congress. It doesn't When we put those individuals, those finite individuals in state Congress or federal Congress, they confer with themselves, be like, nah, we ain't doing that shit. Nah, we ain't doing it. Nah, it sounds like a good idea, like, to the masses, like, oh yeah, they did a public poll, this is what we should do. And they be like, but at the same time, what the masses don't understand is the logistics that go into implementing that. They're not worried about that intricate nature of those details of trying to figure out how to actually bring this to fruition. All they care about, if this was an onion, all they care about is that top layer. They're not in the trenches in these meeting rooms trying to actually figure out how to do this. We talk about from different proposals, like the whole concept defund the police, which is a really terrible catchphrase. It really means reallocate the funds from the police, but
and evolve it. Yeah, basically.
yeah. And so it's one of those things where, we can talk about in the abstract, like get rid of electoral college, but that's just like you said, that's only for one office of the land. Really, the other offices still, every single from the congressional offices still get in through the popular vote. So I think we put too much emphasis, personally speaking, and care about who is in the seat of the presidency.
I mean, I feel you on that a little bit because it's like I see what you're saying. It does take a lot, and we have to understand that even in Congress, they really do hold a lot of power in Congress. But I also want to reiterate, like, that's what your job is to do. Your job is to figure that out. We elected you to do a job for the people. So no matter what it takes, no matter how long it takes, no matter what the logistics are, that's up for you to figure out because the people have spoken. So that's what
Right.
I do in regards to that.
But you also defer to those same elected officials to do what's best for you. So if they figure out during their conferences and their meetings that ain't the best thing for us to do, that's also a decision that we defer to them to do.
I disagree because go ahead. Sorry.
So I feel like with that popular vote thing, I think it's not even that logistically hard. All you do is when the time comes, you know what I'm saying, when CNN and them and Fox News, all of them, they doing a AP, they doing a election coverage. Only thing you see is popular vote. That's literally the only thing on your screen. And from state to state, you see the Senate and House races. That literally would be the change. All of a sudden, because my thing is this: we don't know who's in the electoral college. Nobody knows. That thing needs to go.
Actually, that's actually public record depending on your state. The way people are selected as electors for the electoral college and state law in various states. And so the way people are selected is by party affiliation. There's only really two major parties across the United States.
Hella bullshit then. That's hella bullshit then. Because we got to get away from this two-party system for sure. So I think the best way to get rid of it is to then if you get rid of the electoral college, right? No longer does somebody that could okay.
That's what I said.
God forbid, I hate the example I'm finna give, but okay, you have a Kanye West running, right? If somehow he becomes popular as hell, he could actually win anybody. That would then make it where anybody could become president. True. Because all you have to do is be the most popular person that everyone agrees with.
Exactly.
It would then free up the presidency for anybody.
True. I agree. Well, that's what I was saying earlier, is because it just makes it more competitive on the national level. So, I mean, again, you have Republican parties who are set in their ways, who are very partisan, Democrats who are very partisan, And at this point, if you're competing for that actual popular vote, you literally have to cross lines in order to try to win over that popular vote. You literally have to change your policies that are in favor of what you may be personally against, but actually benefit what the American people want. And I also want to state too what you said earlier in regards to like Congress. Again, I don't care what they think is best for me. That's not for anyone to decide what is best for me. I am myself. And if I'm voting for an elected official, your job is to work for the people. I mean, the very three first words of the Constitution are "we the people." So when we're talking about my elected officials, Congress, Senate, representatives, president, these people work for me. So regardless of what they think is best for me, they can't speak for me. You got to remember that some of these representatives in Congress, they're making millions of dollars more than me, millions of dollars more
Under the table.
Under the table. And you think they know what's best for me, a person who's broke, who had to struggle to make it up to this level? You think they know what's best for me? No, they know what's best for their pockets. And that's exactly what's been going on over the past years, decades in regards to Congress. So that's what I feel in regards to this is like, no, by doing this, getting rid of this electoral college, you actually are starting to work for me for the first time instead of working for the party. So that's what I feel. And again, I think 61% of Americans feel that way too. But I mean, that's just me. But and then also want to state one more thing. But a party that wins without actually winning the most vote is going to turn against democracy on itself. And that's essentially what we're looking at right now with President Trump. He's literally trying to go into the courts and try to sway the vote back into his favor so that he can win the presidency. And it's just wild to me. Like I think everybody needs to get educated on exactly what a coup is. Essentially, this is what we're headed down. And so if this were to happen, basically it would come down to the House of Representatives to decide who's the president. And currently, as it stands, the House of Representatives definitely favors more Democrats, but that's definitely not how it works in this situation. The House of Representatives for that state, they only get one vote. So if California, they have 53 senators, majority of them are Democrat, they vote for the blue, that's one vote. If majority of the states, which this is how it is currently, majority of the states in America vote red, that's one vote. All Trump needs to do is for that to happen before the deadline, for them to contest those electoral colleges before the deadline, and then he can sway it right back into his favor. He just needs enough votes in the state legislature to swing his way so he can win the electoral college. And again, that's unfair because you see what I mean? So the electoral college has its downfalls, and it has may have its upfalls for the minority. But again, I think that comes down to we're talking about democracy, and again, I know we're talking about the Republic of the United States. What we call it is a democracy, essentially, and this is literally a play which is constitutional on our democracy. And so it's scary to think about, and you have to think about the ramifications of what this could lead to, not just a sway into President Trump, who could win this presidency, but also a sway into a civil war. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. No, you keep going. Y'all keep conversating. I just got to go grab my food real fast. I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, no, that's pretty much all I have to say in regards to that is just, we're, again, what it comes down to right now, currently, as it is currently, is if Trump gets his way, he could sway the vote back into his favor. And all he needs to do is get the state legislatures within the House representatives to vote favorably in his favor. He only needs to get enough votes to get the electoral college back on his favor, and he can win the presidency. That, or if he plays his cards right, he can take it to the Supreme Court. And guess what? Out of the 9 Supreme Court justices, 6 of them sway right. And he wins.
I mean, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but honestly, that's not gonna go his way. There's already Republicans that are not with him publicly. They've already told him like, yo, I give you one of the most prominent Republicans who came out and said that the election was fair and the results should be, trusted, was George W. Bush, the president right before Obama. And 2 of the justices that's currently on the Supreme Court actually work for George W. Bush. That's Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Barrett. They both worked on his 2000 presidential campaign as his attorneys prior to becoming Supreme Court justices.
True, but okay, I want to read this because I had to pull this information up, and I want to read exactly what Brett Kavanaugh said in regards to all of this that's going on. He said, but if today's courts follow the reasoning of Justice Brett Kavanaugh in a recent important vote tallying case, the result will be worse than the shit. According to Kavanaugh, the counting of absentee ballots ought not to be counted too far after election day, lest the final tally flip the results, which is currently what we've seen. The final tally has flipped the results. Now, this is something that Trump has been saying, whatever, jaw dropping, anti-democratic, whatever, all that crap or whatever. But the other justice who leans more Democrat, she said she had to point out as if talking to a school child, there are no results to flip until all the valid votes are counted. And currently, as it stands, like you said, Brett Kavanaugh, so yeah, he may have worked with President Bush, but yeah, Brett Kavanaugh, and you think that all of this stuff has been playing out ever since, he's been placing these people strategically into these plays. And Donald Trump, we hate the guy. He's stupid. He's dumb. But I mean, strategically, he's got the odds.
I think he's shrewd. I think he's shrewd, but I don't think it's to the point mathematically, even if they were to mathematically, he still lost, by a tremendous amount. He lost Pennsylvania, he lost Georgia, he lost Nevada. And it's like, it's one of those things like, yeah, he's very shrewd and how he did about things. He was really effective in his one term of using the bully pulpit and the executive order. But my thing is when it comes down to everything, and everything is speculation. He's already had the Republican National Convention and his administration, his campaign team have already got lawsuits thrown out of court in the states of Pennsylvania and the states of Georgia.
But see, I want to talk about that though, because even with those situations, they went up to the National Supreme Court. And now you got to remember, like Ginsburg, she died. So now the favor was it was skewed right down the middle. And then he put someone, Amy Coney Barrett, the chick that's in there now,
yeah,
Republican, who could sway more into Trump's favor in those situations. And, that's just something else to think about. But and I also want to point out too, and my bad, go ahead.
No, go ahead, I'm listening.
I feel like I talk too much sometimes, so I'm sorry.
Good.
Well, I was just saying, in regards to that, and I just want to go back to what it was saying on here, is that, one of the judges, the Justice Alina Kagan, she had to point out there are no results to flip until the valid votes are counted. So we're talking about valid votes, and valid votes, according to the state of Pennsylvania, where they were able to extend some of that carry off from the votes, as long as they were backdated or they were dated in the mail or whatever, as November 3rd, as the election day itself, they were able to accept those results up until Friday.
Quick caveat right there with Pennsylvania. The election already came out. They didn't count anything that was received on the 4th, 5th, 6th. Anything after the 3rd, they didn't even count it. They set it on the side.
Exactly.
It's not even an issue. You already took an L.
No, but here it is though. Here it is though. This is the crazy part about it. And this is where that coup kind of comes back into favor for Donald Trump, is because even though the justices say they can say, you know what, those votes after November 3rd don't count. Well, guess what? Now the results are so close that now we can literally go into a coup type situation. That's all he's trying to do.
But you understand.
I don't think that's possible. Like if you do the
it is. No,
wait,
it is.
Let me explain my position, and then you can go ahead. You can go back in. You've been talking.
Go. I talk a lot. Sorry.
So look. If you do your count regularly, right? It becomes certified. Then you do your recount. That person still wins by a slim margin. That's it.
Right.
That's
right.
It.
Exactly. And but yeah, actually, I'm talking about this whole notion of a coup. You need. All right, so in other countries where, that are less advanced than our country, less sophisticated, that may be a possibility where you need a militia. You actually need some an insurgency, to be able to coup. Trump doesn't have those numbers. He doesn't have those numbers. Like we see the exit polls and everything. He doesn't have like these boots on the ground. If we're referencing the Proud Boys, they aren't large enough to go against the United States of America military. And so it's like what you're trying to say in terms of this coup may be what you're trying to convey is maybe a legal coup. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, in the court system. But there's like the states of Pennsylvania, you know, they're gonna be the states of Georgia. He doesn't, you know, they're gonna be like, they're gonna have to go through the process. It's a drawn out process. You got to go through each state's
That's
level
that's
of
no, that's the point though. It's a drawn out process. If they don't certify those votes, that's the issue that we're talking about here. What can happen by a certain date if those votes and the electoral college is not certified? He can go in and get the House of Representatives to decide the fate of the presidency. That is literally what a
right. The House and the current composition of the House of Representatives isn't in his favor. So technically,
No. It actually
that's
is.
exactly what I just explained.
It actually is. He's right. He's right. So each individual state in the House of Representatives gets one vote.
One vote.
And most of the states are red, like at least 30, like no, not 38, but
are y'all talking about the U.S. House of Representatives?
21 states?
The U.S. House of Representatives, they get one vote as a state. So even though California may have 53 representatives in that state, as a whole, they get one vote. So even though they as a whole may represent majority Democrats, in states like Missouri, Kansas, Texas, they all get one vote as well, where they sway more Republican. That's what I'm talking about when in regards to a coup. That's the situation that we're currently in. Right now, he's in the courts, literally trying to stop the electoral college certification from happening. And if he can do that and continue to hold off until the deadline date, which I can't remember when it is, I think it's next month sometime, until that deadline date, it then gets put over to the House of Representatives, where the state legislature then decides who the president is. And all he needs to do is get enough votes to swing back the electoral college in his favor.
That would need in there, even in see, there are too many variables already in play. You would need to, if I'm Trump, I would need to convince the majority, a simple majority of state congresses.
No,
you know,
you don't. It don't. It already swings in his favor right now.
Republican.
The majority of the state, again, you have to remember too, even though there's 435 representatives for the state, for the country, we're talking about each state individually. So in the state of, again, California as an example, 53 representatives, they only get, as a whole, even though there may be some Republicans in there, as a whole, they all decide, okay, majority of us swing blue, so we're all going to swing blue. But majority of those states, like in the state of Missouri, I believe we have 8 representatives. Majority of them swing red. So they all get one vote. Whoever the majority of the representatives of that vote are, they get one vote. And then that one vote determines where that electoral college goes. So that's essentially what I'm talking about when we're talking about a coup, is that's literally where we're headed. He just needs to hold off that certification process until that deadline. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. He has his lawyers in place in those states where he's trying to get people to swing back the legislator back into his favor. Like I said, that's where we're currently sitting. Even in today's House of Representatives, that's exactly how it sits.
So,
go ahead.
So the date that the Electoral College electors actually meet up this year is December 14th.
Mm-hmm.
And like they're gonna meet up, and then they're gonna cast their votes for, because they had to follow the law. Because early this year, so background context, right? The Supreme Court had this case in front of them, which was a case that's stamped from 2016, where basically it was faithless electors, where they had to, the Supreme Court decided had a question in front of them. When the question in front of them was whether or not an elector can basically does not have to follow the state law and the will of the people of their particular state. The Supreme Court this year, in the month of July, ruled that the electors of their particular state have to listen to the will of the people.
That's cool. But again, we're talking about the legislator. Like, we're not talking about the Electoral College. We're just talking about the House of Representatives.
So Carl, you talking about also the other point to get it to where you're talking about, which is where the Electoral College wouldn't certify. If the Supreme Court has done what Bam is saying, then we wouldn't even fall into this situation, because it'll be certified on the 14th.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. It has to be certified before that date. Currently, as it stands, they haven't been certified though, and he's holding off in
Right.
the courts with his lawyers to make sure that doesn't happen.
Right. So what you're saying is, and I'm not dismissing it. And what you're saying is it has some validity to it. But here's the thing: there are too many moving parts. So, and again, concurrently, simultaneously, in the world right now, he's already had lawsuits being tossed out at the lower court level. So they can't even go up to like appeal it to the next legal jurisdiction, legal court of appeals because it was dismissed.
That's
You
fine.
know,
He doesn't even have to win. All he has to do is hold out. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
but
He
like soon as these states start to certify, like, because he's going to do first, but because you didn't mention this part, what he has to do first is just request a recount where there was a certain number of votes, and there was a certain number of votes, and he could trigger he could recount. Once they trigger the recount, that's going to take up the majority, the remaining of this state. By the time, and it's going to hit December. By the time it hits December, I guarantee you, he's trying to run out the clock, which is what you're essentially saying. He's trying to run out the clock.
running out the
They're
clock.
going, yeah, they're going to make. I feel confident they're going to make it to that electoral college meeting in December, and then they're going to go ahead and vote Joseph Biden and Kamala Harris
Yeah.
as the new president before then.
True. And I agree with you. I don't think we're going to hold off that long. What I am saying is that there is a possibility that President Donald Trump could be President Donald Trump again in 2020. And I'm not saying that that will exactly happen. The fearful thing for me is that it could happen. And so the fact currently where we're stating right now is we never thought that Donald Trump would be president in 2016. We never thought that. Again, we thought there was too many moving parts for it to happen. But look what happened. He became president. So I don't want to dismiss that this would never happen, but I just want to bring up the possibility of why it could happen. And people need to be informed about it, and they need to be vocal about it to ensure that we hold our states accountable to the current democracy for the first stage of our current democracy as it stands, before we make it to the underlying constitutional voting election bullshit that's going on, basically. So that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that it will happen. It's the fact that I'm scared of that it even could happen.
Oh yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, it's the fact that our democracy literally will mean absolutely nothing, and the ramifications of that are what is scary to me, because we already have essentially civil rights activists out in the streets and riots happening out in the streets and disagreements and divisiveness and all this stuff that's already happening currently as it stands. Imagine if the courts and our state legislator were to turn the entire country against what we wanted, our democracy, right? And turned it back into Trump's favor. Imagine the anarchy in the streets. Wouldn't that be crazy?
Right,
Again, I just want to say this. I want to finish this real quick. Is that I'm not saying it will happen. The fact that it could happen, that there's a slight chance, like 1 in a million, is still a chance. That's the scary part. So,
well, I'll say this about the part where we're talking about how Trump became president, and how Trump became president was, and Byron will tell you, he in the chat with me, you know what I'm saying? So he can tell you, like, I posted it, like, the Democratic Party helped, Trump become president in the first place. Specifically the DNC and Hillary, there's documents about that. And that's not even a conspiracy theory, like, or anything like that. They helped him become win the nomination, and because they thought he would have been an easier opponent for Hillary, which ultimately backfired against their ass. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I definitely get what you're coming from.
yeah.
We can move on from this, but it was I like the theory. I like what you're saying.
Yeah, I just think that, when we're talking about democracy, electoral college, that electoral college has so many downfalls to it that are constitutional, that are lawful, that we really don't experience or see that side of it, the underlying effects of the electoral college, they can literally sway a presidency out from democracy and into the wrong hands. And so at that stage, if that were to happen to me, you have a lot of Republicans and conservatives, they're talking about how Democrats are trying to turn into the socialist communism party. And I believe currently as that stands, if this is what they're trying to do, it only proves that the Republican Party is more so this communist system. You know what I mean? And if he uses his emergency powers, we could literally see a dictator, essentially, and it's just ridiculous. I'm just done with this presidency. I want it done. I want it over with. I want these laws changed, and we have the power. To anybody that's listening, we have the power to change our government by getting out there and vote. And you have this special election coming up in January 5th for Georgia. Y'all need to get out there and vote. Vote like your life depends on it, because it does. Our democracy depends on it. So,
all right, yeah. All right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to I was just real passionate about that.
Yeah, I was like, shit. Let me
Now you good, man. I think honestly, I got a different perspective on it. I'm a little bit more conservative in my outlook. When it comes down to it. I'll give you this. Now, yes, the Democrats did win the executive office, the White House. However, they did not do. There was really, before the election, there was this talk of there was going to be a blue wave. The Republicans were doing so bad across country that Democrats was going to control both the House and the Senate. That didn't materialize whatsoever. And hell, actually, in the U.S. House of Representatives, the Democrats actually lost seats. The majority actually got smaller. And so a lot of people talk about, the bad about the Republican Party, and that's all bad about them too. But I always say this: if they got rid of racism, I bet you it's a more appealing party specifically for Black people, because especially in the South, because a lot of Black people have conservative beliefs. But it also, in a sense, these polls are wrong, right? Because as much as we can sit here and talk about how the Republican Party, is this and that, overall, those races for those different congressional seats, whether it's in the House or the Senate, those Republicans still secure re-election. And that says something. Even though the most people came out in history to vote during this presidential election, think about it, Republicans still by and large kept their position. They didn't really lose that many seats. I was telling somebody this today. If I would believe the rhetoric coming from somebody else when they said yo, the Republican Party's a dying party, the motherfuckers they crazy, they bat shit crazy. If Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham lost their seats, both of them won re-election. Both of them. You know what I'm saying? So it's tough for me to even agree with you 100%. And I think the Democrats got their work cut out for them in the next, from between the year to 2021 and 2022. Yeah, so that's basically it.
I feel you on that one.
So the main thing is with the Democrats is they have to start actually doing what their people ask them to fucking do. Democrats do whatever the F they want to do. They're like, hey, we're gonna do this for you, blah blah blah, and they do whatever the F they want to do. You know what I'm saying? I will give conservatives this, the Republican Party this. Trump gave y'all what he said he would give y'all, and that's what y'all wanted. He gave y'all what y'all wanted. You know what I'm saying? So the Democrats, this election, this presidency needs to do. Oh my God, man, my nose is itching like I'm out. Need to do the same thing. They have to do the same thing. They have to follow suit. They have to deliver. Like when Joe Biden was like, "Oh, the way Black people had my back, I got yours." Oh, I better see it. I better see it.
And I
better see it, or else when it comes time for you to run for re-election or whatever, and your party needs to choose the person, I'm gonna be right there advocating for whoever the hell wants to run for president against you.
Yeah.
in your own party. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna have to work for your own party's nomination.
Exactly. Well, see, and that's another thing though too is what was I about to say? Damn, I should have wrote it down. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Is I don't even think necessarily the Republicans got what they wanted out of Trump because I think there's a lot of stuff that Trump rhetoric. Well, listen. There's a lot of Trump rhetoric that he talked about, and I think majority of it was not even necessarily getting what they wanted out of Trump, but more so offending and getting and showing the people that the Democrats aren't doing what all they're supposed to do. I think majority of his presidency has just literally been crazy talking to Democrats and talking about how stupid.
I will sharply disagree with you. I just had a convo with one of his avid supporters. He definitely delivered. She was
Okay,
like, "Hey,
give me
I
some
got
examples.
what I wanted." He said, "This is what he said he was gonna do." He did it. I like that. You know what I'm saying? I like that somebody delivers.
I guess in what way?
Delivered on what they
He's lied about a bunch of stuff.
wait. No. He delivered on what he said he was gonna do. So this is what she was saying. I'm just saying what she said and what he said. I'm just saying
Trump did most
to me.
Trump did most of his campaign promises. That is very true.
He delivered on all of them. He said, "Yo, I'm gonna ban Muslims." He did it. He was like, "Yo, I'm gonna crack down on the border." He's like, "I'm gonna crack down on the border." He did it. Every turn of the corner that he said something wild. That look. The reason you're looking that way is because you don't like it. I don't like it either. But at the same time, he delivered what he said he was gonna do in some way, shape, form, or fashion. It may not have been on the highest level, but he delivered.
Yep.
I disagree. I mean, again, it comes down to perspective. I mean,
that's not.
Well, he banned. Okay, his first 100 days. Listen, his first 100 days, he bans Muslims. Okay, we get that. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff a lot of promises that he made that he did not keep. And so, regardless of again,
which ones? Because she went on.
Okay, we're talking about the Affordable Care Act. He said he would replace it with something beautiful, and that never happened. There are 7 million Americans that lost their health care under Trump's presidency currently. You're talking about the wall and cracking down on border security? No, let's not talk about border security. Let's talk about what he said in regards to that wall itself. He said, I'm going to build a wall, and Mexico's going to pay for it. So, yeah, he cracked down on border security, but that's not the promise that he made. The promise he made was a wall with Mexico paying for it.
Here's the thing, and here's the thing with them. I'm trying to get you to understand his supporters' mindset.
Mm-hmm.
He set out on starting to do it, but he couldn't. And now here's the thing. Here's the cop out for them. Here's where they are mentally. He couldn't do it because the Democrats cover the House, so he can only do some of it. So we're okay with that. We're just gonna steadily work down this House of Representatives and build up numbers and build up a coalition. That's why you see what you see now, which what Bam was talking about, to where they have more House of Representatives. You know what I'm saying? And they're still about to excuse me. Because they're literally playing the game with us. We are so based in on our feelings and how we are feeling, instead of sitting back logically, taking notice and going, okay, this is what we need to do. We're reactionary. The Democratic Party is reactionary. They're not with foresight planning against this stuff, because the thing is, literally the bar is so low for politicians that all he had to do was deliver on something. That's it. That's it. He for them, I'm telling you what she told me. Look at me dead in the eyes today.
I got you, but again,
12. Listen. She listed 12 things, and I couldn't even argue with her because he did it.
But again, that's the thing. Again, so we're talking about, you're saying that she saw it from her point of view. Again, she is a Trump supporter. And again, yeah, I am not for Trump.
That's what matters.
But listen. It does matter. Propaganda is real. It's all just propaganda. He's literally fed. Literally, what did he just do recently? He said votes are false. Mail-in ballots are they will literally.
No, you're You're sidetracking. You're sidetracking.
I'm not sidetracking. I'm literally talking about.
No. We're not talking about mail.
How he literally
ballots. We're not on that topic. We're talking about just what Trump did.
That's what I'm talking about. Listen, no. Listen, let me finish. Because I'm talking about how propaganda has literally swayed the voters' minds into thinking that he has delivered when it's not true. He hasn't delivered. All he literally has to do, and I used as an example, was the voting in the mail-in ballots. How he literally made you think that it was wrong, that it was bad, and how he changed your mind and your opinions about it. Just like he said, we built a wall. We built a wall. And where did he build that wall? He built that wall in what was it, Vegas or something like that?
No, listen.
He brought it on the border.
Listen.
No. He built a wall in where was it? Arizona, or not even Arizona. It was somewhere crazy. Now he did build a wall, but who paid for the wall?
Listen.
That's government.
So what promises they delivered on? Because I'm still confused.
No.
I can list you off some of the promises. Give me a second.
Yeah, go ahead, Bam.
All right, I'll list you off some promises. He promised to push college.
Stop. No. Stop it. You gotta let this man.
Listen.
No. Let him get the list.
He said, give him a second. I'm giving him a second.
No. Wait. I'm talking already. Relax.
No, but you keep cutting me off. You ain't letting me finish my.
No, I'm trying. No, you stopped. You paused. Bam responded, and I said, "Hey, hold on." I was finna.
Hey, go.
Yes. Oh.
Go. Because I can go on about this.
I know you can. But listen. And this is all that matters. This is all that matters. And this is why we have got to do better as a people and reaching across and bringing people together. Like, this is literally why. Because we created a situation where politicians have been allowed to do absolutely jack shit for the most part. Most of them don't do nothing.
All right, I got you.
They make. Okay, cool. Go ahead.
Right. So he made a promise that he was going to pull out the Paris climate change. He kept that. He said that he was going to replace where Neil Gurich, when Anthony Scalia died, he did that. He announced that in the United States were going to withdraw from the Trans-Pacific Partnership. He did that. He made waves to actually enact the Keystone Pipeline that's going through North Dakota to Canada. He did that. He said that he was going to withdraw from the NAFTA and renegotiate deal. He did that. He said that he's going to set up a lifetime ban of White House officials lobbying on behalf of foreign governments. He did that. And now I'm reading this stuff off of websites that are keeping presidential campaigns. He said he made a rule for every new federal regulation. 2 current regulations must be eliminated. He did that. I'm gonna read out to you the ones that's in progress. So he said that about the border wall. He began that. That's in Arizona. He suspended immigration from certain countries. He did that. He increased. This, and I'm reading this all to you, right? He lifted restrictions on production of $50 trillion of American energy reserves. He canceled federal funding to sanctuary cities. He said all this. He said that he actually wrote an executive order stopping DACA. He did that.
Can I stop you?
Wait. Now listen. No, hold on. Before you go,
I can read.
I know where you're going. Before you go in. Listen, the whole premise of where we are right now and how we got to this part of this conversation is that he has. I can tell you, being in California, I've seen where they put in the new stuff that they said they were going to put in. I've seen it myself. I went down there. I said, I laid eyes on it. Okay? I laid eyes on it. I'm like, oh, this actually exists. They actually did this. I'm not saying that it's perfect. I'm not saying it's the idea or the thing that he did, but that's not what matters to to the base of people.
To these people, we get that, and I understand
That's
that
not what
concept.
matters. They want to see results. Like people with when they're elected politicians, they're tired of not seeing results. Now, are some of them misguided and getting finessed? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, they getting finessed. Hell yeah, they getting finessed because most of the breaks that they're given are to rich people. But hey, they don't see that, and they believe that they will become part of this upper rich class, and they too will partake in the lower taxes. But you're not gonna.
That's literally what I'm talking about. It's literally what
you're
just
not
saying.
gonna make it there. You're not gonna make it there. I'm just
saying. That's literally what I just said about. That's literally what I just said. What you just said is people are being finessed into believing that this deal actually helps them, or that he's actually done it for you. And I mean, the same fact that you can read off statistics and this and that, I can do the same thing. And even some of that information that you read off portion of it has been skewed to favor Trump in a way. So again, you can't leave a portion of the promise off and say he kept that promise. No, again, he built a border wall using 11 billion of the US dollars. That's not what you promised. You promised a wall, but a wall using Mexico's money.
But you were zero in on this wall, but I've listed like several other things.
Okay, you know what? Let me list several other things. He promised to bring peace to the Middle East. Instead, tensions have increased, and his so-called peace plan was dead on arrival.
I can say something about that. He actually presided over a peace treaty with Israel and another country just recently, like in the last 3 weeks. Did you not? Did you see that in the news?
No. Oh, what you talking about? Say it again. Let me just make sure I heard it right.
Yeah. So there was a peace treaty between that Trump allegedly brokered between Israel and another country.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Middle East isn't just two countries though, so I'm trying to figure out where else.
I'm gonna tell you the other country right now.
It was Israel and Saudi Arabia, Pakistan.
But the thing is with his base and with his supporters, with most of the Republican people that are voting for him, is that he has done something towards it. He's making progress. They don't expect shit. No. But here's the thing: they don't expect shit to happen overnight. And so the same thing with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I'm expecting y'all to make progress. I'm expecting y'all to do something towards what you said you were gonna do. But listen, you don't. But here's the thing.
No, because you keep saying what I think.
Previously, no. So listen.
Go speak. I'm listening.
So, okay, it was Israel and Sudan.
Go ahead.
Israel and Sudan on a peace treaty. But I feel like with a lot of this stuff, like when Obama became president, I felt immediately hopeful, and he did do a lot of great things. He really did. He did a lot of great things. Okay, and most of Trump's presidency has been reversing all the great things Obama did. I was a beneficiary to a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. By the time I got to college, stuff was good. Okay, stuff was good. He was doing a lot of good stuff. Okay.
Go ahead. I want to finish off my point.
Yeah. That's what I can say wholeheartedly. You know what I'm saying? Now on the flip coin, on the Republican side, they're like, yo, we finally got us a guy that's gonna give us what we want. The thing before with all presidents before you got you know what? I'm not even gonna include Obama in this because Obama even had to tweak his stuff to
be bipartisan.
To be bipartisan. He even had to tweak his stuff to be bipartisan. Trump's been able to just slam most things that he wanted through there. Because he had the Senate and it was him, and he didn't have the Supreme Court. Now he does. You know what I'm saying? That's in his favor. You know, and I just feel like again, I'm not speaking for me. I'm speaking for them. I'm telling you what they told me.
Look.
And this is what they feel. And my thing is the main thing with Democrats against Republicans and conservatives, if we feel like they've dismissed our human experience. But to get them to acknowledge our human experience, we have got to unpack their mindset and understand them. You know what I'm saying? We can't continue to play checkers, and
Yes,
you
yes.
know what I'm saying, when we need to be playing chess. We gotta make bigger moves. We have to move a certain way. Like we have to watch how we frame certain things, so we can then start to swing the pendulum back towards the mental. You know what I'm saying? All of us on here want to see fairness, want to see, you know what I'm saying, something that's representative of the people as a whole. Like, I'm pretty sure some of us share some democratic ideas, and some of us share some conservative, well, liberal and some conservative ideals. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say one party is like, well, one party is more representative of liberals and one is more representative of conservative, but neither party is liberal or conservative.
Can I finish my point though? Let me finish my point.
No, wait. I know you've been wanting to get your, like, I've been gone. I didn't say nothing. You was able to get your ish off. Okay.
I didn't get my point across though. I mean, I don't feel like I had more to unpack into my reason.
Yeah,
that's where I'm trying to go with that.
Yeah, I get that. And I know that once I stop, you're going to be ready to just go. I know that. So I'm like, hey,
go ahead.
Before I have to sit back and just listen, I'm finna just go and finish getting off. So, shoot, man. So I really want to, again, for the people that hear this, like, I really want to caution anyone from being like too hardcore in one camp. Like, because if you get that hard in that camp, you're going to realize that you're denying pieces of yourself that you agree with. You have really got to sit there and on each individual issue, unpack it. Nothing is Democrat, nothing is Republican. Everything is literally what it is. It's what you feel like it is. You know what I'm saying? You can't get hardlined into your party. You can't let them jackknife you into partisan politics. You can't let them do that to you. Fox News, CNN, turn them motherfuckers off. Turn both of them off. Like, after going through a nice period where I was neither listening to CNN nor Fox News nor MSNBC, and I just started independent researching myself, I was able to find the political identity that most matches with me. And guess what the fuck it is? None of them motherfuckers. There's not one party that exists on this goddamn earth that I'm like, yo, I really like them. None of them. Because I want guns, and I also want some form of basic health care for everybody.
I feel like we're going too far. I feel like we need to reel it back into the point. That way I can finish.
No. I'm just trying to.
I know we can do that. I just need to finish this point, because now I feel like we're going off track, and now it's like
I'm trying to go. I'll be done real quick. I'll be done.
Okay, I just want to say this is because I'm not disagreeing that there were some things that Trump did that were in favor of the Republican Party or for whatever it is that they believe. But like you said before, people have been finessed. And the same way that we hold our officials accountable, like one thing that someone had posted on Facebook, they said something in regards to, I hope you guys are happy with Biden. When he does this and y'all this, you guys don't get to complain. And I'm like, why the fuck don't I get to complain? He's an elected official that I voted for. And if he's not held to the same accountability that I give him, then why can't I complain about it? Okay. Same thing with Donald Trump. If he's not held to that same accountable, but that's not the case that we're seeing here. What we're seeing here in majority of the media, and maybe media is very dangerous, which it is, but media also tells a true story sometimes as well. What we're seeing, especially on media, and I'm just talking about TV, I'm talking about social media from a lot of my Trump supportive people that are on social media. And we're seeing that no matter what Trump does, even if it isn't exactly what he said, they're like, well, and they offer up an excuse for him. They stand behind him. They don't hold him accountable. So in regards to what I'm saying, what your friend said, that may be true for her, but they're not holding him accountable for the things that he said he would do that he hasn't done. And even the things that he said that they claimed
Yes.
he had done, you guys aren't holding him accountable to finish off the whole end of that deal. So again, the wall was a perfect example. You're talking about building a wall, so give a fucking why. Who cares a fuck? You said Mexico was gonna pay for that wall, but $11 billion of my tax dollars went to that damn wall. So no, I'm not about to give you credit for shit like that because you ended the green, or not the Green New Deal, but you ended NAFTA and all this stuff. Okay, you got out of the Paris Green Agreement. Okay, what are you doing to replace it? Like you said you would do. Same thing with the Affordable Care Act. You said you would end it, which hasn't happened yet. But then you said you will replace it with something beautiful. We haven't seen that yet. And they're not holding him accountable to his words. That's where I'm going at with what I'm saying. It's not the fact that he hasn't done what people feel that he's done what they said he wanted to do. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Y'all aren't holding him accountable for the things that he said he would do and hold him accountable to fill out that entire deal. Don't just stop here. No, you got to finish off exactly what you said. That's where I'm coming at with that. So that was my point. So I'm not saying that what he's, again, Mr. Bam, like you were saying, is that there's a lot of stuff that he claims that he would do or that he said he would do that he did. I mean, I can list off things that he said he would do that he hasn't done, right? That he said he would do within his first month of his presidency. Mm-hmm. And again, we're not seeing that. So it's a two-edged sword on that. But again, what we can do, especially as more liberal, more progressive, I'll say that, is that we can hold our elected officials accountable. But Trumpsters, they won't. That's what I'm trying to get at here.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, you make a valid point.
That's hard fact. That's hard fact.
Yeah. So that was my whole point in regards to what I was saying today.
Hold the level of accountability that Democrats hold to their public officials. Like we will sit up there and straight up say, "Yo, Kamala, what's up with you denying that dude to get his Senate pardon?" You know what I'm saying? We'll say, "Joe Biden, what this crime bill? Hey, bro, what is this?"
Yeah. We holding him accountable for it.
Yes.
And then even another thing I want to add on to that too is because Joe Biden is our next president. You think we wanted that motherfucker here? And we've been very vocal about saying we didn't really want you, but you was the only option. We've been very vocal about that. I wanted Bernie Sanders. I wanted Bernie, or at least Elizabeth Warren, or Andrew Yang. Oh, I was really for Andrew Yang. So I already had in my mind on who I wanted. And even once he got elected into that Democratic position or whatever, I wasn't necessarily happy with it, but it was the only choice that I really had that had a fighting chance to beat Donald Trump. And we were very vocal about saying, we don't really want Biden. We held him accountable for all the stuff that he did. Now, to say that we're going to vote for a guy that doesn't actually hold our beliefs, that's one thing, and maybe we all got to contend with that. But again, I'm holding him accountable for the things that he said he's going to do, the things that he said he has done, and for whatever, for this selected position that he's currently in. So that's what I got to say to that.
I'll say to that as well that Biden, it was a conspiracy to get Biden the nomination anyway. If you really follow the nomination process, Bernie was actually leading for the most part. Mm-hmm. Then Biden came in and stole his thunder. Bernie was still leading. Then they had to convince Bloomberg to come in, dilute the votes. Then when Bloomberg was in there, he actually hurt both Bernie and Elizabeth Warren chances. Mm-hmm. And then it's basically splitting the vote because you have a four-way, you have four people on the top of the ticket, all old as shit, and white, and so people, the most of the votes went to Biden, and which was their strategy from the beginning. So it's like, to your point, is that, you weren't really given a choice. Bernie really got screwed for a second time. Mm-hmm. If we being completely honest, but most people don't want to talk about that because they really didn't follow it, as intently.
Yeah.
More the process, but yeah.
And another thing I want to add on to that too is we're talking about the primaries. They're very important, and the youth, and more so millennials and Generation Z, the ones who are after us, wherever they are, they didn't really get out there and vote during the primaries either. And regardless of the conspiracy that may have happened or that we all think did happen, we also didn't really do our part to ensure that it didn't happen. You know what I mean? So we all had a responsibility. We shouldn't just vote for the president, we have so many things that we should be voting for, and so many times to get out there and vote, that we actually need to go out there and handle our business. And again, I was saying earlier, the average age of the American people is 38.2 years old. And here we are, we're selecting 78-year-old people to represent America. Like, that just seems so wild to me. Like, we literally could change that, but we're not getting out there to vote. We're literally, sitting in our dorms talking about the things what we would do, who you would vote for, but not actually doing it. So.
Right. It's complex, but it goes back to what I said earlier. We don't live in a democracy. We live in a republic. We elect people to represent us. And then later on, unfortunately, we get upset how these individuals represent us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's changed. Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah. That was my point. I got my point on.
I have no disagreement with anything you just said. I like with this next 4 years, like it's really in the air. Like it's really in the air what happens. It's really in the air because Republicans in the Senate, Democrats have lost more House seats, which is very interesting. The Supreme Court is mostly conservative, so it makes it very interesting where you have a situation where you're gonna have to reach across the aisle. They're going to have to, and Democrats have to be careful. They will mess around and lose the House if they don't fix their messaging and what they're doing. They're so caught up in how they're used to doing things that they're literally fucking themselves. Yeah. Like I've never seen these people like screw themselves over so hard. Like my thing is like the people that they say are not popular or not good for democracy or whatever. Like like you got your AOCs and Ilhan or whatever. That little group, they all won their re-elections flawlessly. Mm-hmm. Flawlessly. Why? Because what they said they was gonna do, they stuck to it. And literally, that's the same thing you can say. Unfortunately, with Trump, minus the accountability, is that he stuck to what the game plan. Like he said, "Hey, this is how I'm coming in." Everybody 4 years later looked at him and went, "All right, you did exactly what you said you was trying to do." So Dems got to fix their messaging, and they also got to stop blowing millions and millions, like hundreds of millions of dollars, trying to upseat Republicans that ain't going nowhere. Like Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham, y'all really thought y'all was gonna get them to power?
I want to say something to that though, because I remember, and I don't know, I don't
200 million. 200 million between both. The DNC spent in two races.
Yeah.
200 million.
Well, I want to say this, but I don't know how true this is, but I just remember reading somewhere, again, this information isn't, I don't know where this information is found or even if it's true, but I just remember reading somewhere that they removed, what was it, like 300 or 200 some polling positions in Kentucky where Mitch McConnell was actually, where he represents or whatever, and they removed them out of mostly Democratic, more urban areas into, more suburban areas or whatever. So I don't know how true this is. Again, I just felt as though I remember reading that he made it harder for Democrats to get out there and actually vote. But another thing in regards to even that, because if we see Democrats voting for a president, then why the hell did they not vote for their senators too? We're seeing record numbers here, But even then, I think that kind of plays back into, the state legislature where they most.
I'm gonna say this, and I said this on the my podcast. On my YouTube channel yesterday. On my thing yesterday, I kind of went up solo. I said the American public is lazy. Okay, they're super lazy, and the one thing that mail-in voting proved was we are that lazy. Okay, like it was literally, hey, you can get a ballot, you can turn it in, and it'll be counted. That's the easiest thing somebody can do. To ask somebody to be able to come out and physically vote somewhere, that's tough. That's tough. They're not gonna do it. They're not gonna do it. Why? Because oh, I gotta miss my favorite show. Oh, I gotta sacrifice my time. You know what I'm saying? Oh, my kids. Oh, my job. Like the excuse, 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 excuse. Hey, yeah, you have a good one, bro.
Take care, man. Oh,
Yeah. I don't know if Mr. Nasty was trying to come in here or not. He might come back, he might not. But yeah, like I just feel like we like a lot of stuff just got lost in the shot, got lost in the sauce.
Wait, what did you say again? Sorry, I got distracted with the people leaving.
Yeah, I did too, low key. Hold on. Hold on, then I'm finna try and I forgot what chat this dude is in. I was finna ask him, I'm like, yo, you coming in or no?
What were you talking about? I can't think of like something.
Man, I'm struggling. I'm struggling. Hold on 1 second.
You have to edit this silence out.
Oh yeah, for sure. Look, look, I'm already there. I'm already there. I'm gonna edit it out. I think. Oh, he's in here. Gotta be. Where is?
Oh, that's what I think we were talking about. I think.
What was it? What was it?
I think we were just talking about like seats and how the president, like, how lazy we are as voters. Americans.
Yeah. Lazy. Yeah. Like, voters are super lazy, and that's Trump's major misstep was like not saying, not realizing that that people are lazy. If he would have told his people, you can trust mail-in voting, mail-in vote, he would have won. I'm keeping it a band. He would have won.
Come on, yeah. Another thing too is like, we were talking about the mail-in votes, and he was like, well, how come I'm not getting numbers like them? Well, duh, you told him it was fraudulent and all this stuff. So but I also want to say this too, is that technology is so developed and so advanced now that it's so wild to me that we can't evolve our voting processes, So yeah, we have mail-in voting, but we have to go through all these restrictions to ensure it's not fraudulent, yada yada yada. But something that really rings with me is getting on an airplane, and currently in certain stations for Delta, and they have that where you literally, there's like a camera, it's like a 3D camera or whatever it is, and not even, what is it? It's something. It's like a camera type thing or whatever, and it matches your face to the system, and it basically determines if you can board or not. It's basically your passport now. So you don't even use a boarding pass anymore. You don't even really have to show your passport. All you have to do is literally walk up to the thing, takes your face, and you're good to go. And I just think of just how crazy technology is. And I know that, you have the Galaxy, you have the iPhone, whatever it may be, they can do this facial recognition. Of course, it's not fully there yet to where it's like fully legitimate, but I think technology is moving in that way to where we can actually switch from voting in-house to at home.
Listen. Facial recognition works good enough for it to open your phone, be used on your bank account app, and you can then open your bank account app and apply for a loan, only having logged into that account with facial recognition from your phone. You can get a credit card with that.
Hey,
like and that's another thing I was trying to tell one of my coworkers. I said, hey, you know what I'm saying? You can apply for a home loan and not have ever seen your mortgage broker.
Exactly.
Ever. You can do it all online. How do they know it's you? Somebody can know all your information and got a house. You know what I'm saying? But it sounds too crazy. You know what I'm saying? But you'll believe that somebody cheated 100 million times to win an election, but you won't believe that we can all vote digitally now. Like, you know what I'm saying? We got social security. I mean, you got social security numbers, all this other stuff, everything else that you can do without stepping foot inside of anywhere. But
Exactly.
all of a sudden, it becomes a problem just to vote. Like literally, they could make the most secure app on the effing planet be a government ran app. You pre-submit your phone number and information with your city, whatever legislator, whatever, and then that is what allows you to then get on the app. They create an account for you there, then you get on the app, and it's a 1-to-1 ratio.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, okay, they're gonna have to do like business numbers. Okay, you're not getting an account. It's per person. You know what I'm saying? So that
Yes.
person gets a phone number and then boom.
But I mean, like everyone has a social security number, so like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like a business has a social security number. So I'm like, that's like technology is so there. Like you said, we can do all this stuff
Right.
and give all this information to somebody you don't even know for everything, literally everything in our lives. But when it comes to voting, oh no, you got to come in person. And then at that, all you have to do is show an ID. At that,
Yeah. And your
and
ID to be fake.
Exactly.
It ain't like they scanning it or doing the double check. That the club is more secure than you voting.
Exactly.
To be honest. To be honest, it is harder to get an alcoholic beverage underage than it is
to walk in and vote.
Vote. Yeah.
I think the biggest issue probably right now as it stands. I mean, we've seen technology to where, or not even technology. We've seen hackers hack technology or hack, certain things or whatever. So I think that could be a possible issue.
I got 3 words for you: local area network. Just don't be on the huge ass internet.
Yeah.
Don't be. Just local. Just land. Just land.
Yeah.
You get that shit together. You make a hard copy of what's in your area that came out of your network. Cool. Then you put it in a thing. Send that bitch off.
Yeah.
And then if we went to like a popular vote thing, then we could just, you know what I'm saying, just upload the information and just have it get sent to one central place. They kind of go, okay, can you reconfirm this? Cool. You take the you know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, the validation process for it, you take the data that you have and then you send your data over, your raw data over. And so the whoever the techie guys that handle that, they go through the data to make sure they're fake. Okay, we went through all of California's votes. Nothing seems egregious. Nothing seems fake. All of these names and socials match. Cool. Next state. They do it state by state by state by state. Okay, election results are certified. Boom. You are now the president of the United States. If we went popular vote, it'd be that quick. It'd be that
simple. And now I see what Bam was talking about in regards to like the logistics behind that. I can understand the logistics behind that. Literally setting up a whole system, yada, yada, yada. But that's something that I think we need to be doing because not only it's like you got to spend money to make money. You've heard that saying before, right? You got to spend money to make technology or to make the democracy actually work for you. And that's what it is. We're spending money on stupid shit. Why can't we spend money on something that's actually going to be beneficial to our democracy? So I like the idea. Technology is so developed. Why are we still going in and voting on paper?
Right. There's no need. There's no need. No need.
Yeah. So that's just wild to me. That's something I wanted to say though.
If you can mail in a fucking ballot, and my God, you can motherfucking just you can motherfucking just
swipe Trump, swipe Biden. Boom. There it is right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do a Tinder thing, They even got the check mark on Tinder now.
You can get stocks on E-Trade. I never seen an E-Trade person. I've never seen the brokerage account building. Never. It has my social attached to it. I'm going to get a tax form from E-Trade about my trades.
Yeah.
But I ain't seen a soul at E-Trade.
Yeah.
Telling me I can't vote? It just
exactly.
Click.
Yeah.
Easy.
That is wild. Now that we broke it down like this, I think it even sounds even more absurd that we have to literally go in and do all this extra crap just to vote. Now that you broke it down into like the different ways that we use just technology in general
Yeah.
facial technology in our day-to-day lives. Not even that, our fingerprint, our social security number, the general way on how we do that, it can be used to vote. And I just think that us breaking that down, it literally just brings it to perspective. Like, yo, that is kind of dumb. Like, that's dumb. Like, we still doing it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, we are behind. We're behind, but the whole world is behind because honestly, the truth is, the people in power are scared to lose power. The moment you make it like that to where people can vote that easily, it's over. It's over for you. They know it. They know it. And honestly, if we search ourselves, we know it too. It'd be over for them if we made it where everybody could vote that easily. You know what I'm saying? The only time you should be going in person is to make that account to register to vote.
Yeah.
That's it. Or if you need to change your account information, you have to go to that office and you have to go in person. Other than that, that's it.
But even when it comes to even registering to vote, I think it's so wild to me that when we turn 18, all we do is apply for whatever the hell it is we do. We have to be on that social net or that social number thing, the MIN. We have to be on that social number thing in case of a draft and all that crap.
Yeah.
You don't see nobody like that should be how voting is. At age 18, that should register you to vote. You have to you know what I mean? And
if I can go die, I can go vote.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Like, come on.
Yeah. If y'all gonna make me go die, then listen. Yeah.
And this goes to a very simple saying: common sense is not all that common. Once you get to breaking down the actual what the logistics would be and what it is, you all of a sudden find yourself in a position where, oh, this whole thing is bullshit. It's rigged against the American people in and of itself. You know what I'm saying? That's why you have a thing like Citizens United that basically makes, companies, they have the same right. They make it like a citizen or a person. That's what they treat it like. They treat corporations like a person, which is insanity. Which is insanity. You are a business.
Yeah.
You should have no say so.
Exactly.
It's all about the people.
Yeah, everything is just wild to me. Growing up, you're always told, and that's another thing. We can talk about that another time because I got a whole nother thing about like what we learned in history, and again, like I was saying earlier, like propaganda is really so. It's not just one thing that was like North Korea where they send propaganda to their citizens. It happens here too, and we learned about it in our history books. They tell us what we want to hear. They tell us and teach us what they want us to know.
Right.
So I think that's even just propaganda is so big and has a huge influence over our society and everything that we do and every ways that we do. Again, like I was saying, even with the vote, the mail-in ballots, propaganda, all he had to do was say it's fraudulent, and his supporters ran with it. So anyway, I ain't got nothing else to talk about. I don't know what else.
They said people. They said that they weren't letting their people in the building to watch the counters. I'm like, bruh, the reporter literally walked up to the guy and asked him right after he said that, hey, he's like, there are Democrat and Republican people in there, right? He ignored him. He ignored him completely, which means you're out here lying.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
You don't know someone. If you would have just came out and just said, no, I have evidence of voter fraud, blah, 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 and present that. The thing is, nobody's seen.
No one's presented it. That's the thing. It's like you can say all this. Yeah. Just because you say it, don't make it true. Yeah. And that's what we're seeing is, you see people in the highest power or even news anchors. Like I was saying earlier, is how they were saying, like how dangerous it is to say, none of this has been substantiated or like valid or verified or anything like that. But you decide for yourself. And they show you and make you believe propaganda that literally sways you into believing a certain type of thing. And that's dangerous because now it's like a threat on our democracy.
Yep, very dangerous. Very dangerous.
Yeah, so I ain't got nothing else to talk about unless you got something to talk about. Not talk.
No, I'm good. I'm trying to get in the bed. I'm honestly tired.
I'm tired too. I've been up since 4 this morning.
I've been up since 5 this morning.
Oh yeah. What time is it there? You in Cali?
It's 8 o'clock. I'm finna get into bed like I'm an old man and go to sleep.
I feel it's 10 o'clock here, so I'm about to
Yeah,
log
it's
off and go
dark.
to bed. This is a good conversation though.
Oh yeah.
Like, and you know, man, I get real. Like, I wouldn't say loud, maybe a little bit, but
You're passionate.
I'm passionate about some of the things that I talk about, and I don't mind listening to other views or anything like that. So I don't want people to think that like, dang, he loud, he don't want to listen to nobody else. No, I don't mind listening to other people and their views or anything.
Mhm.
But I think you've got to really convince me otherwise in certain situations, and so that's why I want people to know, ain't nothing wrong with dialogue and conversation like what we're having or anything. But y'all gonna have to give me some shit to convince me otherwise, because you know a word like I was saying, you can't just tell me something and then I go fact check it ain't true. That's it. So I'm real passionate. So that's all I got for the peeps.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm really over here trying to figure out if my homeboy was gonna get on. Because he's like, is this going on right now? And I'm like, yeah. I just responded to him. Like he asked me that 6 minutes ago. I didn't see that shit.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna get off. If he
I'm honestly gonna get off too.
Oh, okay.
So he might find out that this is over with.
We gone.
Right.
All right, man. Well, I'm gonna let you go then.
All right, bro, man. Yeah, yeah, y'all. This has been Homer with Smooth. We out.